Okay, welcome, welcome. Hi, Darlene. So I'm going to give folks a chance to jump back on. So we're live right now. Right. If you're just joining in, I am Cleta Soul Child. This is my first time going live on Facebook, so thank you for your patience with me in advance. So while persons are coming in, I'm going to start in about 5 minutes or less. If you don't know as yet, I am Cleta Soul Child. I started this podcast live on Instagram called Cleta Soul Child Podcast, making it millennial. And I basically ignited this passion through COVID-19. COVID-19 has been a pain to most, like myself, but I definitely found a way to find my passion through it. So it's not all bad and terrible for everyone, because I definitely found a blessing out of it. So with that being said, just hold on tight and we'll get this show started as we wait on persons to join in the next few minutes. You look gorgeous.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh my gosh. Calm down.
No, it's fine. It's funny because on the Instagram live, persons can tell you that I typically ask questions such as how's everybody doing? How's everybody mentally, emotionally? So this is a very free, transparent place. So don't be shy at all.
It's actually really weird because I've been in so many pageants. So it's like, I always put myself out to talk. So it's like, why am I putting myself to talk? And then I'm so shy. But
No, but they always say that nerves are good, and at the end of the
yeah.
day, it's just more so talking to the camera. I think is the awkward thing, especially when nobody's talking back. That's why I love
Actually,
the show.
it's more awkward when you actually know you're on live because I would talk to my camera 100%. I'll be talking to my friends, be like, you just riddled that off like it was nothing. But when I know it's a platform, then it's like, okay, breathe.
Yeah, it's completely different. But in all honesty, even with making YouTube videos, I'm a bit awkward.
Really.
I'm a bit awkward. I don't know what it is about cameras and stuff. It doesn't do well with me, but oh well.
Well, the thing is that after it's done, you always look back and you're like, well, okay, that was a breeze. Okay, ready for the
Right,
next
right.
one.
And then after it's all said and done, it's like, oh, all right, it wasn't that bad. But yes,
Yeah,
so let me just go ahead and get started. Again, if you're just joining, I am your host, Mary.
okay.
Yes, so if you're just joining, I am Cleta Soul Child, and this is my podcast live, Cleta Soul Child, making it millennial. Thank you so much for joining. If you're a first-time viewer, you can definitely look at recap videos on my Instagram live, the IGTV it's stored on. Yes, you can look at recap videos. And the purpose I started this podcast was because I was in search of finding myself. I was in the midst of COVID-19, trying to make sense of my reality and everything that was going on. So with that being said, I basically birthed this where, we have conversations that help you look within yourself, conversations about what we as millennials can do within our community to make a difference. And that's why I'm very happy and proud to have Miss Mary Fulford here on the show today with this wonderful topic, building up the women around you. I think it's amazing. And I think society has shown us, the world has shown us that women is basically blazing their trail in the world. We're making our mark. And not just women, of course, men too. We're all here to build one another up, but I'm definitely here for women empowerment. And I'm glad to share my platform today with Mary, who will tell you more about herself and her newfound passion, the Woman Code. So, Mary, can you just please give us a brief description of who you are, what is the Woman Code, and what are you looking to do with this?
So, hi everyone. My name is Mary FULFORD. I'm the founder of the Women Code 4.0, which is a women's empowerment group, which I recently launched here in Turks and Caicos Islands. And the mission of the group is to build a community of women to nurture professional and personal growth. And the reason why I launched is because after living in London for 4 years for university, I have really loved being around female groups, and the atmosphere was just amazing. A lot of times I went to groups and I went by myself for the sole purpose of I wanted to push myself to network. And normally you won't do that if you have your friends there. So I would venture out and do different things. And the atmosphere was just amazing. Like the way that they just genuinely supported you and encouraged you without even knowing you was something that I really adored and I loved about those groups. And I married that with my passion for constantly trying to professionally advance myself and personally. So I married these together and I decided let's make a group out of it.
Awesome. So there's a comment here from Bernicia saying that she loves your hair. Hi, Bernicia. Shout out
Thanks,
to you,
Brisa.
darling. So, guys, just a heads up. Mary can't see the comments. I can. So, if there are any comments or questions, concerns, or even sweet remarks that you have for her, feel free to post in the comment section, and I'll definitely read it out to her, and we'll go from there. So, I can definitely relate to you on that. And I think that's why it's so important that we as people travel the world and see things beyond our shores, because I'm sure that it was a great feeling that there were women out there that didn't even know you at all. And they were basically, willing to uplift you, support you in any way that they can, and they don't owe you anything. So I think that's very beautiful to see across the globe. And what I do want us to start with before we talk about building each other up and empowering one another is, what do you think are some of the things that divide us as women? And how can we focus on those weaknesses in order to build that back up?
Okay. I think that maybe the first thing that kind of divides us as women is the false belief that we believe that there's limited space at the table for all of us to fit. And we believe that, it's a competition, it's always a competition, like only one person can be there. And the thing is that, all of us have something so unique within us that we can all bring something to the table. And, one of the big topics around the world right now is diversity. And that's one of the biggest things, really, because more diverse we have persons in different positions and bringing that to the table, we're able to, form a greater group than with everyone just, duplicating the same thing.
Right, for sure. I definitely agree on that. But even now, with us feeling as though that there's only room for one person at the top, I feel like that's not even an excuse anymore, because at the end of the day, I love how Denzel says, reach one, teach one. So once we pull ourselves up to that position, although you could be in a substantial position, it's important that we're molding someone under us so that eventually they take that role over. And I think we should learn how to see things just a little bit differently, as far as, okay, Mary got this position as CEO, and she may reign in this position for 10 years, but guess what? That's 10 years of her molding and teaching me this role in order for me to have that opportunity one day. So I definitely agree with you in that aspect.
And I think also, like, if for like the example that you use, we can use that as motivation to be like, okay, if she can do it, well, then I definitely can. Like, there's no way that I can't do it as well.
Of course, of course. And I found that, because I actually did some research on this so that we come correct to the table. And there are 5 types of empowerment. They have economic, political, cultural, societal, and national empowerment. And how do you feel about women in those sectors? Because even now, like politically, our first female premier is a woman. Like, she's a woman, Charlene Cartwright, Madam Premier Charlene Cartwright. So, I think that women have been dominating for the last decade like crazy.
Yes, I think it's about women just realizing now more than ever that we have something to offer, and we can be just as great as our male counterparts. And not saying that there is a competition, but that we have something to offer, and that we can dominate different fields just as men could.
Of course, of course. And I love to see it. I think it's great, even like what we're doing now. You know, perhaps we could be encouraging other persons, and that's why I think it's great that we. It's important that I'm big on youth. So I think it's so important that us as women reach out to the youth and empower. I love that they have like the big sister or big brother aspect of things, because you don't realize how much people out there admire you. You know, at one point, you know, before you and I even personally met, like I used to go on your Instagram page and I'm like, this girl is so dope. Like, girl, you got
Thank
swag,
you.
style. And I was just like, yeah,
I'm trying. But I think that's a really good point that you made too, because a lot of times that's really the truth.
for sure, for sure. Like, what are some questions that you feel like you have for the audience as well, as far as women empowerment go? Because I just posed a question, and guys, feel free to chime in the comments. I posed a question of what do you think divides us as women, and you gave the idea that, you know, sometimes we feel like there's not room at the top, and I think also sometimes it could also be like insecurity as well, because sometimes like not everybody grows up in that support system of having people to cheer them on and push them and tell them, man, listen, like you can do this, let's get this done, etc., etc. So guys, feel free to share in the comments if you have anything else you want to say. Mary, do you have any questions as well?
Um, the question that I had was around,
Yeah.
sorry, was to answer part, basically to give an answer towards what you were saying. And I think that if we just operate from the mindset of abundance, and as opposed to scarcity, because like you said, there's so many room for us to improve and to be better, and we should just view each other as, you know, if she can do it, as I said, I can do it. And then also learning from each other. And that's one of the things that I want to do with this group as well, creating a network of women so that we can actually ask questions, we can feel open to doing that. Because prior to moving away for university, I probably wouldn't approach someone that I didn't know to ask a question about something that I would really want to know about. But after
Right,
living abroad, you know, that becomes something that you normally just pick up on. And so I know, like, a lot of times in Turks, that we may not reach out to persons that we don't know unless, you know, we know them and we'll speak to them. But I want this group to help bridge that gap so we can feel comfortable reaching out to persons within our group to ask questions about whether it be on professional development or personal growth. So just really create that community.
right. And something that you said that I want to touch on, as far as, you know, basically igniting us as women to reach out to other women within our community about anything else. Do you feel like that most of us don't do that because of intimidation?
I think sometimes we can feel like it's intimidation, that maybe, you know, because I think it's a mix of maybe jealousy that can be inside of it as well. Because
Hmm.
maybe I might be like, well, she's up here, she don't have time for me, and you know, just the idea that, you know, well, she's better than me. Everyone is, you know, flocks to her as opposed to me. So sometimes it can have a
Right,
lace of jealousy within it.
right. Let me read some of the comments before I chime back in. So Bernicia said, I think some of this starts from when we are children. Little girls need to be taught that we are better together and all have something to offer each other in this world. I completely agree with you, Bernicia. That's why I said that I think it's important that us as women, even with like what we're doing now, it's important that we don't just keep it amongst ourselves, but we make sure we reach out to the youth. Like, to me,
And I
they're
think it's
the
also important.
important. Go
Yeah,
ahead, babe.
so I was saying, I just think it's also good that we, you know, show more vulnerability. You know, like, it's not always flawless, it's not always perfect. I think, you know, that's something too that I realized a lot, because I'm not the most vulnerable person. And I realized after a time, you know, people, they show up to see you, not your, you know, not your assistant, not someone else. And so, you know, the only way you can really make genuine connections with persons, if you really just show them who you really are. And you know, it's not always perfect. You don't always love your body, you don't always love your hair, and you know, it's completely fine to love yourself as you are without having to feel the need to change and to, you know, look like someone else or be like someone else. Because as I said earlier, we all have something unique to offer, and the minute time that we try to duplicate someone else, then we pretty much dim down who we are. And you know, you never know what you may have inside you that the world really needs. So it's so important that we, you know, just be ourselves, and you know, that's all we can all do.
Yes. So Bernicia, that's why Mary mutes her mic. I know the clicking sound that you're hearing, so like bear with us on that one. Brianna Williams also made a comment. Sometimes it's listening to other people comparing you and another female. Some people can get into your mind, and all of a sudden you find yourself being insecure and jealous of other women. And I definitely want to make a comment on that, because you mentioned something about vulnerability, and I'm very vulnerable. I am not scared to let y'all know I can be a crybaby. Well, technically, this has ignited over the few years, but I will tell them straight up. Listen, my feelings hurt. Sometimes I'm a crybaby, sometimes depending on the situation. I'm not scared to be vulnerable. Like, the more I look for spiritual growth within myself, I had to learn and accept that I'm an energy person, and I cannot hide from the fact that I am vulnerable. I found that when I used to mask my feelings, that hurt me more in the end with relationships, people, because having that hard exterior all the time, it becomes exhausting. And I found that the what opened this side that basically opened up and blossomed as far as vulnerability goes came from women who were willing to be vulnerable with me and let me know, Cleta, listen, I've been there, I've been through this, and this is how I dealt with that. They weren't scared to share their stories, their experiences, and that's on all levels, whether it's career wise, relationship wise, friendship wise. So I definitely agree with the ladies on that part.
I just want to make a comment to where you just sat, because I was in Miss Teen Turks and Caicos. I think the pageant was in 2016, the first ever, and I remembered, we were having a lot of girls just dropping out, and I think that was because they started to see the persons who was in the group, and kind of felt insecure measuring themselves out. And so we had this session. I remember we was at the Blue Haven. I think it was after our photo shoot, and everyone we sit like in a round table, and we just everyone had to share something about themselves, like something maybe that you were insecure about. And at that moment it helped me to realize that that we all may look so perfect and look like we all have it together, and the truth is that we really don't have it all together. And sometimes we just need to hear that from other persons to help us to remember that listen, we're all fighting something, we're all trying, so let's just cheer each other on and encourage each other.
Absolutely, I agree. One thing, and I'm going to ask you this question. I'll start with myself first, but who was a role model? Like, what woman in your life was a impact and a role model to you? One specific person in my life personally that I can never forget was my former manager at this bank that I worked in Florida when I lived there, and her name was Miriam Diaz. And also, I have to shout out Tanessa, because Tanessa is on this live as well. My friend Tanessa, she lives in Florida, and we work together. And I swear, Miriam, she was such a, even though she gave me, I used to give her a run for her money. But let me tell you why I respected her so much, because when I was in my stubborn phase, I was only like 22, 21 at the time. And I appreciated her having so much patience with me. When you were 21, you think you know it all. You think you got it all together. You can't nobody tell you nothing. You out here living your life, making your own money. And honestly, that woman had so much patience with me. She was so focused on helping me build myself within the bank and grow myself. And I remember there was a time where my good friend Tanessa and I were applying for the same position. It was like some managerial position. Tanessa, what was that position that we were applying for? And it's so crazy. I was hurt that I didn't get it, but at the same time, I loved Tanessa that much that it did not bother me at all that she got it, Because for me, it was like, all right, at least one of us got it. And you sure did never a dull day with Cleta. Sorry, yes. Yeah, and she got it. And guess what? And honestly, that experience really taught me what our friendship was built on, because up until this day, even though I don't live there anymore, me and her still talk to each other almost every other day. And like, I appreciate that so much. And honestly, I really have Miriam to thank, because she's pushed me to a potential that I didn't even know I had. Go ahead, Lon. So who was your role model or someone that really pushed you to see yourself?
So that's a very interesting question. Let's see. I would say recently, over a period of time, Bernicia, I know Bernicia's going to be blushing now, but Bernicia has been such an amazing friend. I mean, she is, and I don't want my other friends to catch feelings, because I know how they go. They're going to screenshot this and they're going to say, okay, Ziggy,
I did
only
a
talk to
screenshot.
Bernicia
Bring
now.
me forward.
So I just wanted to I want to put this disclaimer out there, but Bernicia has just been such an amazing friend to me. I just was speaking to her before I jumped on the live. I was like, Bernicia, I'm feeling a little scared. She's just like, don't worry, just breathe. Everything's gonna be fine. Just be yourself. And one thing I also remembered, I think it was last year or even for last, and Bernicia, I was by Bernicia's house, and we were just talking, and I remember she made a statement about saying, I want Zeke to speak more because I know what she can say, and I wanted to, be more bold in her voice. And that's something my daddy would always say too. He'd be like, Bernicia, he loved the way her personality and that, how she's so furious and goes after what she wants. And Bernicia, as also I've been able to, me and Bernicia have grown our friendship even more last year, I think around April, May time. And during that time, we were more, I think, more vulnerable. So I've seen more sides to her. I think
Right.
she was more vulnerable to me first before I was to her. But that was just amazing because sometimes I would look at Bernicia like, oh, Bernicia is such amazing. She have it all together. And then as I got to know, I realized that that she's just a human, just like all of us. And she's just an amazing friend. I
Bernice's
can
like,
talk to her. I call Bernicia.
Bernice's coming. She's like, oh my goodness, Mary, why you setting me up like this? Don't make me cry. Can you see this
Listen,
comment on the
I
screen?
call Bernicia. Yeah, I can see it now.
Okay, so I'll actually put the
I can.
comments on the screen for you to see.
Okay,
I
and
will
like
actually.
Bernicia.
Oh, sorry, you're not done. Because
Sorry.
I will brag about Bernice too
Oh,
right now.
oh, I'm gonna finish it off right now. But like Bernicia has just been such an amazing friend. Like I call her basically about every day, and I'm like, I always have an idea. And I'm like, Bernicia, what do you think about this idea? I need you to review this. Bernicia, can you give me opinion on this? Bernicia, and sometimes I feel bad because I feel like I'm just calling Bernicia and we're just straight talking, like business stuff. And I was like, okay, wait, let me hear what Bernicia has to say. And I think that's also an important thing about friendship as well, too. I mean, giving people the room to speak and not always throwing things down their throat, because we have to be mindful that sometimes people don't have the mental capacity at that time to accommodate, so just being aware of that. And so Bernicia, I really appreciate you. I always tell you that, but you're such an amazing person, and you're such driven and bold and fearless and fierce, and I really appreciate you and our friendship.
Oh, that's so sweet. I do just want to give Bernicia her flower as well. And I just want to say shout out to Bernicia for being so consistent with number one, her live. She also has an amazing show and she touches on like great conversations and open minded things that we as Turks and Caicos Islanders need to discuss. And Bernicia, I just want to say, like, you're doing an amazing job. I also want to say that you are a faithful viewer. Trust me, every time you pop up, even if you're not commenting, I definitely see you. And I just want to say, like, thank you so much for being a support. I'm sure a lot of people felt like during COVID, a lot of people came out with podcasts and felt like, it was so many of us and that we weren't going to be able to support one another. But I definitely make time to catch your lives. And if I don't catch it, I definitely watch the saved lives on your Facebook page. So shout out to you, girl. Big thing. And so Brianna's comment says, and to add to that, we are not taught to share because we are taught to hide our vulnerability. Oh, the clicking sound makes when I talk. So just make sure. I've been in situations where only when I have finally opened up to women, they talk about what they are going through. Had I kept my mouth shut, I wouldn't recognize that we are still fighting the same thing. And I think that's so true. Like, honestly, and that's one thing I can genuinely say that I appreciate, like, my family for. Like, my cousins, like, we are tight. There's nothing that we can't discuss. And, Brianna, something that I want to touch on that I think is important for us as women, even like in the department of like health, us as women, sometimes we need to discuss about getting mammograms done and stuff like that with health issues because there are certain things that you probably go through with your body as a woman that you're too insecure to talk about with other people. And I can understand where that could be uncomfortable, but that's one thing I also admire about women as well. Like, we have those discussions with each other and just to promote health and wellness with one another, to say, hey, you're not the only one going through this.
Sorry, yeah, and I think so. I think as well that a lot of times we, as females, try to be the stronger person, the bigger person, and we feel as if people should automatically know what we're going through, and then we get mad when they don't support us, or we get mad that they weren't there for us. But it's also really important that we be vocal, because no one knows what's going on in your mind. Only you know that. And for other, and sometimes in order for persons, to support you in the particular way that you may want them to, is to be vocal about that and have that communication so that they know exactly where you're at, and how they can best assist you.
Of course, of course. So I love that we're having this discussion. I think it's very powerful, and you know, it's just it's a stretch because you're so focused on positivity, and I find that it's hard for people to come out of that. Like for instance, my cousins and I can use my cousin Ron for an example. Like sometimes, and I can respect her for it because sometimes I'm like trying to be positive. Like she say she's going through something, and I'm trying to be positive, and she's like, "Cleta, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that." And honestly, like I can understand as human beings, sometimes you just want to sulk and drown in your negativity. But it's important to have people that are accountability partners to say, all right, you have 24 hours to go through this emotion, but at the same time, eventually you need to come out of this rut.
And I think also sometimes that, sometimes we just want someone to just hear us. So it's not necessarily that we want to have a response back, but just to know that you're there and that you're listening is just
Mhm.
equally important sometimes for persons.
Of course, of course. That's Bernice's comment to you. And something else that I wanted to mention, like, what do you think some of the stereotypes that we face as women and just globally in the world? I know I would say some of the notes that I took down as far as stereotypes that we suffer with is, for instance, I have here being told we're emotional. Like we have no emotional stability. We make decisions based off emotions. And honestly, granted, that can be true sometimes. I'm guilty of it. However, that's just the reality. Like life is about emotions. And then we can't have careers and be mothers at the same time. I know some women that are just pari at the fact that, oh my goodness, I'm in this specific role. It demands so much time of me, but I want to start a family. I can't afford to get pregnant right now, and letting stuff like that to dictate our world, or being offered lower wages versus male counterparts, or even just traditional standards on a whole. Like, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, just to add to what you're saying, I think also a big thing too is women embracing their feminine part, their feminine side, and it just coming and people portraying it as being sexist and stuff like that. I think that women should have the freedom and the ability to embrace themselves as they are without having to deal with those kind of comments from persons.
Of course, definitely. But that's just one of, I think we're still evolving into that place because when you think about it, I didn't even I meant to do the research of what year was it that women fought for their rights to even work, because there was a time where they didn't allow us to work. So I think all of those ancestral reminders and just bondage and chains of that type of emotion of women constantly having to fight their rights within feminism and making their voice heard in certain aspects of the world, whether it's politically and all of that. I think we're still slowly evolving. I think we've come far, but we still have a lot of work to do. And I think that's kind of why we still suffer with some of that in a sense. Shout out to women like Sheba Wilson and Ruth Forbes, who have been breaking records for women balancing the home and their careers. Yes, I think that is amazing.
Yeah, I really agree with
Hi,
that
Melanie.
statement there too. Because that's actually one of the topics I would love for the Women Code to talk on, and like in terms of a panel discussion when it's safe for us to go outside, work life, balance. Because I think it's so important because we see a lot of women in a lot of leadership roles, which we know requires so much out of you, and then they're parents and they have a husband, or a partner, and you have to fit all of these things, and you have a family to tend to, friends who want your attention. So I think that's something so important, and I think it's something that to commend really on a bigger level, because sometimes I really don't know how they can do it. But you're having all of these different things to juggle at one time, but some way somehow women always make it happen. Like you just don't understand the work that they put in behind what they sacrifice, but they really put the work in and they make it look so effortlessly.
Right. Of course. And men and women, I feel like it's an endless debate that we have, because I feel like us as women, we're constantly in this place where we have to always defend ourselves based on the weight that is on our shoulder. You know, it's just so many other things that we have to face between our dating lives, career lives, friendship wise. Do you watch Insecure? Have you ever seen that show or
I
episode?
used to watch Insecure once upon a time, and then I'm more of an action kind of girl. So like the shooting. I know it's really not girl like, but the shooting and the violence. It's really my kind of movie, or my kind of shows.
I'm big on that because I'm heavy in blind spot right now. But one thing I love about
Oh,
the
me
show,
too. Like, yeah,
sorry, no, I was gonna say one thing I
it is right.
love about the show is that for Insecure, Molly and my girl Issa. And they're black women. And honestly, I think that show is a great representation, just at least on a general scale of what we deal with. But I love how, despite the odds, they maintain their friendship because friendships seem like just friendships, but friendships are relationships as well. I feel like losing a best friend is harder to me than losing a relationship with another man, you know, especially if you have that history and years of friendship. So with Issa
I
and
agree with
Molly,
you though.
yes, like with
Yeah, because I was
Molly
just gonna
is a
sorry, just
lawyer.
bought it really quickly.
Uh-huh.
Pardon?
No, I
Just to
was gonna
butt in.
say,
Sorry, because I feel the same way because I have a cousin. I'm gonna say her name because I know she won't mind. My cousin Reggie, and I always feel like I'm in a relationship with her. Like just today, she messaged me. She's like, "Can't hear from you. You don't message me to ask me how I doing yesterday. If I eat." And I'm like, okay, this what guys feel like when we're down their throat and like you're not talking to me, you're not messaging me. So I really feel like a lot of times with my friendships, it's really just like a relationship and you really have to make time for it. You have to be there. I mean, they really, and we're females, so we know like they want a lot of attention, they want a lot of time. So it's just about just finding that balance as well.
and before we move on from that, because you said something that's a key thing, do you feel like us as women are quick to drop our friendships with our female friends than we are to drop men in toxic relationships? Because it's so ironic that you say that because I feel as though there was a key thing that you said that I wanted to touch on. Okay, when you were making the example about like, you know, sometimes if you're being emotional or you're going through something, you could be telling your guy that, but he doesn't get it. But if you tell your female friend that, she understands you better on that level. And I think that's what brings us closer together as women. That's something like as simple as I say our menstrual cycle, you know? And it's like I go to you and I'm like, yeah, Mary, I ain't feeling good today, you know, X, Y, and Z. You can relate to that because as a woman, you know what it is. But I feel like with men, it's always this constant battle and argument of us trying to let them know, man, listen, like it's not an easy world out here for us. We're fighting against so many different odds just walking down the street, you know? Oh, that was Pernicia's comment to you.
Funny.
And guys, thank you so much for being engaging in the comments. Shout out to Kayla. Hi, Lana. Beautiful. I followed you on Instagram the other day. You're so gorgeous. Lana, and some other women also perpetuate the image. There are some women who make others feel bad for being more assertive in the workplace and sometimes the other way around. True.
I agree too, because I feel like they try to say women need to know their place, women need to act like this, act like that. And honestly, what is woman's place? Like we always say, like, well, what is a woman's place? Where do we belong? I feel like it's really, at the end of the day, we fit in where we fit in, and we should just be true to ourselves. We shouldn't have to chime down, be quiet, don't speak. I know that's what women in times gone, were like, but as time evolved, women we have been more, you know, it's not really about being very aggressive. It's just that I find that too. Like when you're passionate about something, sometimes that comes off as aggression, and it's really not that. It's just that you're so passionate about certain things, and so it touches you and reaches another level too when you're speaking about it.
Of course. Absolutely. Kayla said a woman's place is wherever she wants it to be.
And I agree 100%.
100%. And you know, I think another thing that we have to take into consideration as well, because you do have some women that were cheated in the system or, you know, had to subject themselves to certain things that they probably aren't comfortable with in order to achieve something that is passionate to them. Say, for instance, a role in their job, like a career. And once they receive it, because they had to go through so much bitterness and hate, they become that by the time they get to the top. And then it's like once they get to the top, they have this attitude about them that say if we're the underdogs trying to pursue what they have at that time, they make us seem small or feel low because they work so hard for it. Or you even have people who wouldn't even want to come out of their role because they always want to be able to have that control. You know what I'm trying to say? Bernicia said, I've been called aggressive by other women. I find that very offensive. I am a woman. Have you seen, Bernicia,
Yeah.
that meme that says with the girl that slaps a guy with some flowers and she said, I am not rude, I am a delicate flower. Tamasiue. Yeah, that's so funny. You know, and it's that's just a part of life. Some Savitri has a wonderful message here for you. Congrats, Mary, on your new initiative, Palm Grove in the house. But on a serious note, it's time we women support each other. We are not competition. There's enough out there.
Thanks, Savitri. I really appreciate it. I'm just reading through the comment.
Yeah, I'm putting them
Yeah,
up
it's so important right now that for us to really rally, I mean, with each other and support each other because we're so much better in numbers. And one thing too that I realized, but like, we can, if we support someone on their journey, it can really become such a big thing. But if we keep like creating small segments, everyone trying to just, I just need to be this, I need to get that spotlight, I need to get that shine, instead of just pushing someone, we see that they're there, we can just push them and just encourage them instead of trying to knock their shine and make it seem like I need to get in that spotlight. I need the focus to be on me, because sometimes it's not always about you. And I think we should look at the bigger picture and what's the mission behind this, what's the purpose, and what's the driving force, and what we're hoping to achieve in the end.
and tell me more about the woman code. What are some of the goals that you have? Like first off, like first thing we're doing right now is just of course, having the conversation about building one another up. What would you like? What is your vision for the woman code? And how can us, myself or Bernicia or anyone else in society be accountable to helping you build this structure up and making the impact that we want to see?
Okay, so the women code. So our short-term goals, I'm just going to list off just a few,
Hmm.
is to build and establish awareness around the group. There's a mentor initiative that I'm looking to do sometime next year. So the short-term goals, sorry, just to say, is a 2 year, between a 2 year period. And then strategic career management program, which I've already started to work on already. I have a few persons who already signed on to be a part of it, who are HR professionals. So I'm so excited for this. This one will launch next year in 2021, hopefully around March, which I'm super excited about this one though. So, I can't wait for that to happen. The long-term goals is in the 5 year period, and that's we would love to establish a group in Grand Turk, more empowerment events, but on a bigger scale, community give back on a bigger scale as well, and partnerships with different companies within Turks and Caicos Islands to help strengthen and grow our entrepreneurial ecosystem.
Hmm.
And you can become a group by attending 4 consecutive meetings. Now, I know that COVID is going on, so we're going to start to host the meetings virtually. And you can message me, you can email me to find out more information about the group. I have a presentation slide that I've really created for persons who would like to know more about the group. I can just send it to you. I promise it's not boring. I try to make it as interactive as possible because I know just going through things with a lot of words is just not it. So I was trying to make it very interactive for persons to easily follow. And yeah, so basically the virtual events. And honestly, I just want to take this time to just thank everyone who has reached out to me so far about the group, who's really just like, I'm ready to be a part of it. I love this initiative, any way in which I can support. I would love to be a part of it, and I really appreciate that. So one way we can do that is by becoming a member of the group. And there's so many different events and initiative stuff that I have planned. And not only that, what I have planned, because I want to have a committee on the board. So I wanted to not just be myself, because it's a lot to do, and it's just not a one-man band. And so that would be like having your vice president, your secretary, just like a normal structured kind of group. And there's so many different things that we can join in together. And I don't want it to be only my ideas, because it's a new group, and I want to know more about what persons would like to see
Of course.
for this group, and different initiatives that we can take on. So like, I know I have a lot of different things that I want planned, but I would love to hear what everyone else would like to see, so that we can bring that to life.
Well, that is amazing. And You know, you got my support. And so this is going to be more like a nonprofit.
Yeah, it is a nonprofit organization.
Okay, great, great, great. So yeah, I will definitely be more than happy to help you push the initiative and the drive to basically change the dynamic within our community. And I think what I guess one of the questions that we must ask for the Turks and Caicos, because I know we discussed globally, right? Hold on, Lisa's here in the comments. I know we discussed like globally, you know, how women
Thanks,
empower,
Lisa.
how women
I
empower.
just like to
Yeah, I'm like bringing them up one by one for you. How we empower one
I just
another.
want to make a quick. Sorry, I'm so sorry to butt in,
No,
but I
no,
just
no.
want to
It's
make a
fine.
quick
Go ahead,
comment
darling.
to. About Lisa because I just recently met Lisa. Like I follow on the gram, and we just recently met. When we started to work out, and I just want to say that Lisa's just an amazing person. Like we hit it off immediately, and that was just something that I was like, yeah, definitely this group is gonna be an amazing group because just something like that is what I want. Just meeting someone for the first time. And we just had a like I remember when I was coming back home, we was in the car talking for like 2 hours. We was just talking ideas. We just bouncing. This was the first day that I met Lisa, and so I know for a fact that this is something that we can do in Turks and Caicos Islands, and we can rally behind each other and really encourage each other. So that really gave me so much hope for the group, and I'm so excited to see where things can go for the group as well. And I'm just reading the comments as well, and thanks so much everyone for your kind words. I hope to see you a part of the group, and even if you're not in Turks and Caicos, just playing a part in whichever way that you can.
Of course. Definitely shout out to Lisa. Lisa and I actually had some running. Me and Lisa go way back, primary and I think high school. And then, you know, we had some running grounds when we were both living in Florida when she attended FAU. So, yes, shout out to Lisa. Lisa, I don't know. Can I just ask you if you need a workout partner? Because that's why I'm in love with Lisa. Like, I just love how she takes fitness and health seriously. She looks amazing. Shout out to you, Lisa. Hi, Rachelle. Shout out to you too, honey. Thank you so much for joining the Facebook Live. Um, but something that I was going to say was that I think for Turks and Caicos, in order for this to really be make an impact, and me only moving back home recently as well, I find that I think the struggle here. This is just my opinion. If you feel differently, fair enough. You can state your opinion in the comments. But I think because the island is so small, we're so like intertwined with other relations or people, et cetera, et cetera. I think that's why it's always been hard for people to come together due to them having allies and loyalties with other persons and stuff like that. So no one wants to think beyond the fact that, you know what, that's past tense. We're grown adults. Let's move on from this. This doesn't, you know, impact me in any way anymore. So let me just look forward to being in a more positive space. That's just my thought process and opinion. I don't know if anybody would like to chime in and state what they think it is as well. You know, because I've only been home for 3 years. Thanks, Lisa. I've only been home for 3 years, so I'm still like making my observations, and I'm sure you know. And one thing, I'm big on accountability, so I'm sure perhaps like I've rubbed people the wrong way. You know, so I'm far from perfect. I'm a work in progress, but I think once you know you're trying to build something positive, a positive initiative like this, I think what we need to focus on is the positive aspect and moving forward.
Yes, and I think that there's a way around actually having loyalties and allies to other persons, but still being able to make friends. I mean, like you said, like we're all grown people, so you should be able to put our differences aside. And
Mhm.
like Misha said, she hates the phrase "no new friends." I really do believe that we need to make more friends, and more meaningful friendships because like I said, especially when I've just recently relocated back home, and so many people I've been, females especially, we've been reaching out to each other, be like, definitely when, all this past, let's go out for lunch. Let's just go out and talk dinner. And that's just how it starts. It could just be a simple conversation. Oh, I like this. We should go out for lunch. And that's kind of like, how I found for myself
Right.
to network and build, friendships because I like when I told Bernicia before, I was like, I'm so afraid of networking. Like I used to go to a lot of networking events in London. And I'll be like, how do you do this? Like, do you just walk up to people and just be like, "Hi, I want to be your friend"? I don't know. So it was just so weird. And then I had to remind myself, like, well, the starting ground is that we're here, we all have the same. We're probably interested in the same speaker or the event, and just use that as a means to have a conversation. but it's so important that we make new friends, and because we can learn so much from each other. There's so much to learn, there's so much information, and we can only do that if we try to expand outside of our normal little circles that we have.
Yes. Tanessa, I agree with you. One thing, I agree with everything that everyone is saying in the comments, and as well as you, Mary. At the end of the day, for me personally, with this journey that I'm on, with finding myself and being open and transparent, vulnerable through podcasts and having my intimate relationships and friendships with people in my life, at the end of the day, you just, even if you and I go out and sit down for lunch, we may not know each other on that personal level, but if we know we're just two women trying to get to know one another, network and empower, like, you still can have your boundaries with people. Everybody has their own unique, diverse relationship with people in their lives. That's like having siblings. If you have like 5 siblings, I'm sure your relationship with each sibling is not the same. You'll have one sibling that you overshare with. You'll have one sibling that you got to keep them at arm's length, but it doesn't mean that you don't love them anymore or any less. But why I encourage, networking, I would more so focus on the networking aspect if that's what we want to focus on outside of friendship. There's nothing wrong with networking because you don't know where you'll find yourself in life. You don't know what your true purpose is. And I like to get biblical sometimes. Your life is not your own. And with that being said, you're here not for yourself, but for to fulfill God's purpose, using you for other people. So I like to let people know, like, sometimes the position that you're in, it just surpasses your understanding in that moment. Like, it's not about you, it's about who you can uplift. Even something as simple as me being in Toastmasters, I've made great relationships in Toastmasters. Some days, I'm a little over it, but at the same time, because of the networking and the bond that I've created with certain people, not because I talk to them every day, but because I've created that networking relationship, that in the event that I want to go to these people for something, such as, like, say with your woman code, and I know someone in the hospital in the substantial role that can come in and speak to make the impact that we're looking for. You have that avenue, you have that door. You're not timid to ask that person. Some of the CEOs you're scared to talk to, once you have that relationship with them, it's nothing to call up John Doe and be like, so John, I know you're a big deal out in these streets, but I need you to come to my event and make an impact. Okay. you know
And so that's one of the reasons why it's so important to build up your network, and not just build it up in the sense of just thinking, okay, I know I'm going to need something from them, so let's work it from that angle, but just genuinely, it all starts from just genuine friendship, and just allowing people to understand who you are and understanding who they are. Because at the end of the day, they can vouch for you, you can vouch for them, be like, I know her work ethic, I know who she is, I know what kind of person she is, and I would love to support it because I can see her vision or understand her vision. And so it's so important that we create that network with persons, because sometimes, like you said, if I know you, I'm able to be like, well, I know you, hey John Doe, can you come and do this or do that. And when you don't know people, you're kind of timid, like you said, you don't know how to approach them, you don't know how they will take it. And a lot of times, they may feel like, well, I don't know her, I don't know her angle, where she's coming at, why she
Of
wants this.
course.
So it's so important. And like, for me, like, I just was recently speaking to one of my friends back in London about an idea that I was working on. And after that, he just started sending me, like, okay, I know this person, talk to this person, go on LinkedIn, find this person, I'm gonna send. And I was just like, that's what's so important, because sometimes it's, you just can't do it yourself, and you
Mhm.
need other persons around you. They may know someone and be like, I can reach out to this person for you, I can connect you with this person, and just different things like that. So it's so important to build up your network.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, we're not meant to do anything in this life alone. If you are stuck in your ways and feel like you're going to reach to your fullest potential, get your dreams worth and everything by yourself, take it out your mind. If I don't know nothing else in this life, I know that.
Mm, I agree with. I think it's paused. Can you hear me, Cleta?
Can you see me? Somebody send something in the comments. Can you guys see me?
Yeah. Can you see me as well, Cleta?
Yeah, like, I think my internet was Was
Okay.
it me?
Um,
Just me?
I don't know. It's hard to ever know when it's with digital and flow sometimes. But
Don't know who to blame.
I was just saying I agree with Bernicia. I agree with Bernicia's comment. You know, it's understanding your place in a person's life, and knowing what what role you play. Because sometimes it's not for you to create a relationship. You have to tell them about everything about your life. You just understand where you stand with certain people, and you just keep it on that. It's not always okay. I need to talk to her about everything. She needs to be always in the loop. Just really just finding your place in person's lives, and then just act accordingly to avoid any disappointments.
Of course. And at the end of the day, I mean, the world has created this reality for us. And of course, I'm sure our own personal experiences where people have scarred us. But I'm also learning too, as I grow and evolve, that a lot of times that we have to self check. I'm sure there are times where we've offended people in our lives, and we could have very well been right, but at the same time, maybe our approach and response was wrong. And I think in order for us to be better people in the world on a whole and on every level, is just to be mindful of yourself, learn to be more compassionate, learn to have a level of understanding, learn not to jump to conclusions, and always communicate with people with just trying to have a level of understanding and communicating. I had to find this. If I'm gonna be honest, like I'll be transparent and vulnerable in this moment and say that in the past, I had to learn that I was very much a runner and I wasn't the best person to communicate with. Rhonda, my cousin, can tell you that there was a time where I was just unbelievably like immature. I didn't know how to face confrontation. If it wasn't something that I didn't want to hear, I would just dismantle people, block them, whatever. And that's unhealthy because I'm doing that to people that genuinely care about me. So at the end of the day, you have to be able to do a little self check and say, listen, you tripping. And at the end of the day, this is constructive feedback that you need to take into consideration in order to be a better person to others.
And I agree with you because I think last year, like, I had that similar thing happen to me. And, it's not always an attack. People are not always trying to attack you. It's sometimes like, when someone says something, about ourselves that, we are trying to shy away from or, we don't want to pay any mind to, it feels like an attack. But sometimes it's just really that's coming from the right place. And I always say one thing, I always say, I don't mind persons checking me. I don't mind it at all. But it's the way that you say it because if you say it a type of way,
My
I'm
friend, you
just gonna
can't say
avoid what you
nothing.
said to me. So
I
yeah,
agree.
yeah, you
My
have to make sure that you say it correctly.
Of course. But then, ladies, like everyone and I would love for persons that are viewing to chime in the comments and share your thoughts on this. Because with that being said, that's why I think it's important that, like, in the what I would want to promote in the woman community or just any community for that matter, all persons, man or woman, is that we seek therapy and counseling and we learn to get other people's unbiased point of view of seek a professional so they just not taking your side because depending on how you relay the message they'll be able to tell you, well, Cleta, I think you didn't deal with that a certain way. And that's what I loved about on Insecure. Eventually Molly started seeking therapy, and I love the fact that her therapist, she would vent to her therapist telling her whole messed up side of the story, but at the same time her therapist was educated enough to know that, okay, Molly is self-centered. Molly has this characteristic about her. So even though Molly is venting about this, that I know that there's more to the story, and she still found ways to encourage Molly to approach her situations differently. And I think that's the key to having healthy relationships across the board in our lives. Making sure we have healthy conversations and possibly therapy, counseling, whatever you want to call it. Some people shy away from it. Our culture kind of tries to enforce us to pray things away. I'm all for prayer, but sometimes I need a professional to tell me, you messed up, fix this way, you not wrong.
I definitely agree with you, Tita. So the thing is, I have my two cousins are Regina and Jerusha. Like I've known them my entire life, and I would occasionally go to them and be like, "Okay, I need you to tell me about myself. Tell me the things that that, I'm probably doing wrong, that I should do better. What is it that you see that I'm not doing right that I can do better? And I really trust their opinions, because I know it's always from a place of love. And I know for sure, like, if I ever do something out like, out of my character, or just anything, that's not in alignment to the person I'm trying to be, they always come to me, Ziggy, I don't think I don't think that was how you're supposed to do it. And only sometimes they won't say it, so they won't say it like that. But I understand them enough to know that it's just all love, and it's just jokes, really, because they know that, for me, I'm not easily offended. So they can talk to me in a certain way, of course, with no disrespect, but just always just making sure that I get the point across, as I think that was right. I think you could do it better than this. It's not in alignment to who you're trying to be. And so it's really important to have those accountability partners, because sometimes, I reach out to my friends and say, okay, listen, this is what I'm trying to do. You need to be accountable to me, or be my accountability partner for this, to ensure that, that I fulfill this and I get through this. And so it's so important, like you said, to just have those persons in your lives that you can actually do that. I think I actually asked Bernicia that once upon a time too. You don't take correction personally. Yeah, I don't. Um, I love feedback, and that's something that I really love. Even with just anything that I do, I want to hear your opinion, because I know it's just not always the way I see things. It's about how other people can perceive it as well, because from my perception, it's just one side of the story. It's just one side of the picture. But as you get to understand, you can see the full picture. So I really love persons to give me feedback, to tell me, Ziggy, you can do this better. I know you can do it better. Go back and do it again. And just not taking that personally, because like I said earlier, everything is not really an attack. It's just sometimes it may come off that way because of the insecurity that we may have about that particular thing, but it's not always an attack, and it sometimes really comes from a good place.
Of course, of course. But yeah, like I think that's one of the most important conversations that we need to have with one another, and just understanding, try to have a level of understanding with people on a broad scale, and not take things entirely too personally sometimes. But I completely agree with what you're saying. I'm so like excited about this topic. Like, we're doing good. Let me try to throw in a sponsor prize while we're at it. Let me try to get this on the roll. Probably do chime it in between. So, guys, if you're new to watching my show, obviously I have some sponsor prizes, and I typically have a game segment. So I'll ask questions, and the first person to comment, hopefully my comments are popping up on time. But the first person to comment wins the prize. So with this topic being about women empowerment, the questions are surrounded around that. So the first sponsored prize I want to give away is from the Real Prep Kitchen. They specialize in vegetarian and vegan meals, offering meal prep services and operating a pop-up kitchen. And they're basically focused on promoting healthy eating with an island flair. And the question that I want to use for this is, let me see if people pay attention on my page. Who is the first Black American Congresswoman? Mel, what I get from you, boo? I missed it. Who is the first Black American Congresswoman? What is her name? So the first person to comment, Rhonda, please be my eyes to let me know who comments first. This is a little different because on Instagram Live, the comments are like popping up in your face. So hopefully with this platform that I'm using, I can see who comments first. Hi, Gigi. So I'll ask the question one more time. Who is the first Black American Congresswoman? What is her name? I wonder if I could put it up here. Let me put the question here for you guys. I almost gave y'all the answer too. They probably got to go on Google to get the answer. Shout out to Tiandra. She is representing for the meal prep kitchen. Yes, Kayla, you have won. But Kayla, you ain't here, so how you gonna benefit from this prize? No, it's Shirley Chisholm. Shirley Chisholm was the first Black American Congresswoman. Kayla, say we have the answer. I'm just seeing the comments pop up now, so Rhonda, who had the answer first? Let me just make sure. Say after many years. She was the first congresswoman. Y'all sure? No, it was Shirley Chisholm. Rhonda, darling, comment and tell me who won the prize. I mean, from my end, it looks like Kayla, but Kayla, you coming home? Yeah, so technically Shanice got it first and last name. Okay, Kayla's gonna pay for it. Even though Kayla only used Shirley's first name, I'll give it to Kayla. So I gotta cross this out so I know I used this one already. All right, so shout out to Kayla.
Thanks, Kayla. Thank you.
Awesome. So, guys, do any of you have any questions, comments, concerns for us before we move along? The show will be wrapping up in about 15 minutes. So, if you guys have any questions or comments that you want to make, or something that you feel that neither of us touched up on that you think is vital for us to discuss, please feel free to share. She said she not typing fast enough.
Okay, in the meantime, I just wanted to make a quick mention of the of the minutes of no winning of the sorry, they're having a local Friday social media initiative. I just wanted to just kind of briefly touch on that and what that is about. So basically, when I was planning or coming up with the Woman Code 4.0, this is one of the social media engagement initiatives that I thought would just be so fitting and so fitting for Turks and Caicos. And when I envisioned it, I really didn't expect it to become what I'm seeing it to become, or what I feel like it can become. And I'm so grateful for everyone who has been participating in it. So the main idea of it is on every Friday, whenever you can, wherever possible, to support a local business. And you can share their page, but we prefer if you can actually purchase something so that we can actually, help these businesses to grow. And you take a picture of it, you post it on Instagram story or page. You'll hashtag having a local Friday. You can add the Woman Code 4.0 underscore on Instagram, and we'll reshare it. So it gives local businesses the opportunity, the time, to be promoted, and people actually to know about the different brands and services in which they have to offer. Because from doing this, I've learned that we have so many local businesses here in Turks and Caicos, a lot of which I haven't even known about until now. And so I feel like it's just so important that we promote and we support it. So initially the idea was just that we would have started with members just going, on every Friday we would just go somewhere and we would share that on the page and encourage other persons. But I'm really enjoying the support that I'm seeing with persons as they do it. Just remember to hashtag having a local Friday and at the Woman Code 4.0 underscore, that's one with an A, so that we can actually see it and reshare it, because we really want to see the businesses that you're supporting on Friday.
Definitely. I do definitely want to just give a shout out to anybody that's viewing that is a local business owner. And I just want to say that I'm very proud to see the boost that has taken place with local businesses of supporting. And hello, Lily, how are you?
I'm seeing a question. So just to answer the question,
Oh, yes,
so
she
the
did.
age, sorry, I don't know if I mentioned it, but the age group is 18 to 40 years old. So you want to capture a large range of women here in the Turks and Caicos Islands, and you can join by attending 4 consecutive meetings. But now, due to the whole COVID, we're going to have meetings virtually. But you can email me at the womancode 4.0 at gmail.com, or you can send me a DM on Instagram And I can send you the presentation slides just so you can understand a little bit more about what the group is about, members, member duties, member roles, and we can go from there. But for now, just register your interest. Just let me know that you're interested, and we'll be more than welcome to have you a part. And when we get the chance to have those meetings, and you can come consecutively, and then you can get your pin and all that good stuff, that would happen for sure.
And cool, that's awesome. Darling, I hope that answered your question. Oh, and thank you, Bernicia, for the win. So there goes the email. If you are interested, you can definitely email her at the woman code 4.0 at
Thanks,
gmail.
Bernicia. Hi, MC. I sorry I missed the comment, but I noticed MC had
Yeah.
said hello, so I just wanted
Shout
to
out to MC in
get
the
that in there.
house. Yeah, so I was saying that if you are a local business owner, I just definitely want to say that I'm very proud and happy to see the boost that has taken place in our community, and I hope that this continues. And even if your business is something that caters to tourism, of course we all know the borders are opening back up, but please let's not lose sight of the fact that we need to continuously support one another. And I'm very, very happy to see everyone tapping into their hustle, their potential. It's great. I love seeing it. I am definitely guilty of hashtagging. Not I didn't even hashtag like the local having a local Friday. I forgot to tag you on my business page. So I'm definitely guilty of that. So be sure, guys, to make sure you hashtag them.
Because I know a lot of people are supporting it, but sometimes the hashtag might be missing or the at. So sometimes I may not get to see it, but I get to see when someone else posts it up. So I'm like, okay, wait, I'm gonna screenshot this and post this. Hi, Dwina. Thanks so much, Dwina. I really appreciate you.
Of course.
Okay.
Ladies or gent, if you're in the comments and we were saying that, if you have any questions or feel like there's a comment or something that you think that it's important for us to touch up on that we have not yet discussed, please feel free to chime in the comments and leave your thoughts or opinions or anything for that matter in the comment section. And I'll put it up on the screen. So, do you have anything else that you want to share? I feel like this
I'm just
conversation.
gonna touch up to. Mhm. I was just gonna touch up to what you were just saying about persons tapping into their hustle now, and that's a great thing because for me this is one thing that I was thinking of as well. We travel and we get to experience so many different things, at different places where we go, and we're like, man, I miss the city life. For me, I'm really guilty because I miss London, really miss London right now. But it's about going to these places and realizing, okay, what is the things that I love and enjoy that I have access to here, and how can we bring that here in Turks and Caicos, because there's so many opportunity for growth here in Turks and Caicos Islands, because we're still developing. So there's so many different areas that we can tap into. So it's really just about us really paying attention to what is out there, what do I enjoy really, and how can that be implemented here in Turks. And so that was something that I tried to do um, when I went back to London in January, is to pay attention to the things that I had easy access to, the things that I really enjoyed that were affordable, and trying to create business plans and ideas of how I can implement those things in Turks and Caicos moving forward. Now that I am officially back home for good. Hi, Godma. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it.
I'm so happy that you mentioned that because I actually, her name is Ruth. Ruth, the business wit. Wit 649. I'm getting their Instagram name wrong, but to me, they are going to be Turks and Caicos Starbucks. I enjoyed a great Bamey,
Oh,
what
the
they
one that
call
you
it.
posted up that day, right?
It was
Okay.
so good, and I'm not a
Yeah.
caffeine person at all, but I thought that was so beautiful. I'm like, man, this remind me of Starbucks, and I'm like, look at that, like our Turks and Caicos own very own Starbucks, and I want to help push, promote, and help them grow that business so much because can you imagine like what we can do? We can help people get in businesses, and just by doing something as simple as supporting, promoting. And I feel like a lot of people have this misconception, because I know you said, like, be sure to purchase, but it's something as simple as far as just sharing their stuff on Instagram, like the proper marketing. Perhaps you have people from abroad, from, say, I have friends in Florida, and say they come here to visit, they're on my Instagram page, and I just share some local business restaurant, and they see that, and they go ahead and they can support that. You'll be surprised how far a simple share on your Instagram story can do for someone's business. So even if you're not in the place where you can afford to support them to that magnitude, something as simple as like sharing and just helping them promote and brand their business. And I love the fact that a lot of us are moving away from this mentality that some of us have the same businesses, so we think we can't do the same business. Everybody has their own clientele, their own support, and it doesn't mean that there's not enough room at the table for any of us.
Yeah, and I agree with what you said about posting, even if you can't, be able to afford it at that point in time. Because Christmas time, when I was home, like I'm not gonna lie, I was at Crackpot almost every day. It was like the food, I was just so in love, and I would be posting it up, and my friends from London, they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I need to come here. I need to eat this. What is this you're eating? Wait, this looks so nice." And so I had a friend from my dance group I was in London, who was actually supposed to be in Turks around June. And I was looking forward to it to, show around to the different places to just
Of
really enjoy and
course.
immerse in our culture and our food. But oh my gosh, I was really killing Crackpot Kitchen during Christmas time.
Of course, of course. I completely agree.
Thanks, Bernicia. Thank you so much.
And shout out to you, Kayla. Let me give you your flowers. TCI Girl Things, a former Cakis girl. I love my North Cakis women. Shout out to us. But I just want to say, Kayla, you are doing bomb. Okay, I see you branding every day. I am watching TCI Girl Things evolve daily. I think it's so beautiful. I am so proud of you. And I just cannot wait to start buying gear. And before you know it, I ain't going to be buying clothes out of Ross no more. I going to be rocking TCI Girl Things, branded clothes. So shout out to you. Like,
And just
I love
her
to do
ability,
that.
really, her ability to just adapt to the changes in your in environment, because she really adapted,
Right,
really
right.
quickly to the
Thinking
clothing.
outside
So
the box.
that's a great
Mask.
thing about business. Yeah, definitely. It's a great thing about businesses, because sometimes there's going to be always unforeseen stuff that's popping up in the
Right.
market, and to be able to adapt and change, and to meet the needs of persons as time progresses is really amazing. So I really appreciate, and I really love her business as well.
Yes, definitely shout out to you, Kayla. Like, you have done a wonderful job with adapting to your reality. Shout out to Shaquaz, my cup from Let's Get Personalized. Another woman empowering another woman. Shout out to you. Definitely got love for you, honey. Had to big up my girl there since we supporting local
Yeah,
businesses.
definitely, because she had reached out to me as well on the Woman Code page, and she was just really all for the whole. I mean, the having a local Friday initiative, because I saw she actually supported it last week, and she had a post up. And she's just just excited about the group. So I really appreciate that. I really love the energy and the vibe that I'm getting from a lot of persons who
Yes,
have been reaching out to me as it relates to the Woman Code, and also persons who I've been reaching out to in the HR profession with the strategic career management program. I mean, I'm blown away by the support that persons are really interested in being a part, and I'm so grateful. I mean, this group is becoming more than I really expected or anticipated it to become. So I'm just really, really grateful for everyone who has been showing support. It is really appreciated. Hello, Barbara. Nice to see you.
local businesses each day. Yes, I think it's amazing. It is amazing. Let me try to do another giveaway. I have 4 giveaways today, guys, so probably do 2 right now. So the next giveaway is going to be from Everyday Romance. They are the first of its kind in the Turks and Caicos Islands to provide a dream come true romantic experience during your stay here in the TCI. Now, of course, we can be tourists on our own island. Thanks, Shaquan. Somebody else coming. So here is, so you'll be gifted with a personalized box. Oh, can you guys see it? I just remembered the screen. And in the personalized box comes with goodies. Oh Lord, y'all, I got, let's see, send it this way. Can you see it? So there's a sleep mask. Oh, there, it looks like, oh no, is it two? Oh no. to cover your. I definitely need this, y'all. I have trouble sleeping at night. Only me can't sleep at night. A brightening facial scrub. Ooh, that's so nice. Bernice, I saw your comment. That's what made me think. I love candles. Ooh, this is good. And lavender is actually my favorite, so this is dope. Don't worry, this is my box, guys. I ain't tampering in nobody box. Almond milk honey shower cream. And this is the best. Y'all, if y'all don't know about this scrub, it'll have your skin feeling smooth like a
Oh yeah, I
baby.
love that. That one
Like
is really
that, this is
nice.
my favorite stuff. Whew. Y'all, shout out to Jasmine for another woman empowering other women. Oh, there's more. I don't know if this is gonna be able to fit my foot, but you got some sleep slides. And this is a robe, I believe. So that is what will teens. No, this is mine, Bernicia. This is actually mine. This is for the winner's prize. Like their own is boxed up in a robe. I just use mine so I can showcase what's inside of it. But yes, teens, y'all, teens. So let's see who will be the lucky winner. Let me see what question I want to use. I have such easy questions for you guys. It's not even funny. But of course, the first person to comment. Who is the newly appointed CEO of Fortis? Now we gonna know who was paying attention earlier. Yes, self care Sundays. But I've dedicated my Sundays to you guys. So my self care Sundays has turned into self care Mondays or Tuesdays? Tuesdays. All right, shout out to you, Bernicia. How you gonna get your box, boo? See, this is the thing.
I think Bernice.
Bernicia won that
So
one.
Bernice got it.
Yeah, Bernicia got it. I'm only just seeing all the comments coming in. It's like popping up like wildfire. So who's the winner, Rhonda? Who's the winner on your end? She says she gonna collect that. Oh, all right then, boo. Say less. Say we will discuss in the comments. All right. So the next prize. Let me see which one I'm gonna use. Yeah, I'll use this one. I should save that this one for last. All right, so the next sponsored prize comes from Shisha Lounge, which is a bar and lounge located in Grace Bay. They'll give you the details. The winner will get the details. Yeah, Bernicia typed that before the comment finished. The winner will receive the details later on. So the question I have for this is who is the second appointed deputy governor of the TCI? So keyword, who is the second appointed deputy governor of the TCI? And this is a sponsored prize from Shisha Lounge. So I'm not sure if any of you have been to Shisha. Like it's really nice. The food is great. The bar, they have signature drinks and they have a nice pit fire around the area.
You know,
Yeah.
I missed it when I was home. I think they reopened the week after I left. I was just like bummed because I really, really wanted to get a chance to go there before all of this stuff happened.
All right, my darling here won the prize. So y'all be honest with me. Y'all Googling the answers. Y'all Google the answer. So my darling here won the prize. Rhonda, be sure to take her name down so I can DM her later on. And I guess I'll probably knock out this last question. So the last prize is from sponsored. Where did my girl Mary go? Oh, she probably cut off her camera. Say Google. So the last
Can
sponsored
you send me
prize.
Twitter?
I think you know I can.
Okay, let's see what happened.
So the last sponsored prize is from Commerce Cocktails and Conversations. They are they basically promote local brands and businesses, and I believe they're located and they have their event in Grand Turk. It's just like Lipstick and Things, but located in Grand Turks, where vendors, business owners come out and they basically showcase their businesses, etc. So the sponsor prize from them is a new business vendor. They're sponsoring a new business vendor, a free registration booth to between this year and next year because of course the whole COVID thing going on. So if you are someone that wants to register for Commerce Cocktails and Conversations, she is sponsoring a free registration booth. So I think that's awesome. Sorry, Benicia. No, she's not the second. Remember, the key word is appointed. So Her Excellency Miss Williams was, oh, yeah, she is the second. I don't know why I thought of someone else. Yes, she's the second, Bernicia, appointed. Keyword, appointed. So the question for this is our acting premier, so Madam Premier Cartwright, had a firm located in Grand Turk. What was it called? So the first person to get this prize in the comments will have the name correct.
I'm interested to the response because I don't think I even know the answer to that.
I didn't
I'm
even know.
interested to
I
know.
did my research on her because I wanted a unique question for her, and it was so I was so shocked to even see that. I was like, that I was like, when was this? You should see me googling and everything. So yes, I'll use the question
So this
again.
one, so this one could be an interesting one.
Hmm. Our acting premier had a firm located in Grand Turk. What was it called? Crickets now. So
Everyone is trying to gather the information now.
they probably googling. She did, Bernicia.
Can you find this on Google?
She did work at Music and Stanbrook, and she and Mary. She did work at Dempsey and Co. Our current premier, Bernicia. But yeah, she did work at Dempsey and Co. and she did work at Music and Stanbrook, and she had a firm in Grand Turk. But what was the name? Bernicia, I thought you excused yourself from this game. Now you see, I think I can. I don't think it still exists, but yes, Cartwright and Co. Bernicia, I wanted to give. Oh, shoot, she guessed it.
So that was the answer, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, but you know what? I'm going to give someone else the chance. I'm going to make up another question because Bernicia got that off air,
You know,
and
I was thinking that
she
too. I
already
was
learned
like,
something.
more than likely, it's probably something with Cartwright and something. So
Yeah, definitely. Listen, to give it away to someone, man. Like I don't want to be unfair to nobody, so I'm definitely going to. I gotta think on my feet now, man. Bernicia. Let me go. Let me go in my books. Who can I give it away to? I don't want to just randomly call on it. And I'm not sure who's on the live aside from people who's been faithfully commenting, but I don't want to show favoritism. I want somebody to actually, earn this because I don't want to have to choose. Oh man, Bernicia, you messed. I should have never acknowledged your comment. Hmm. But then again, is anybody on the live that has a business venture or has a current business and would be interested in that? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Oh, we gotta do. You think we should do a new question, Rhonda? Ah, boy. I actually had something else lined up. Let me see. I deleted it from my notes. Let me see if I can use Jackie's footwear. Is that someone that's a business that they want to earn that they have? So I'm just going to. Bernicia, they saying I should do a new question. I think I'm gonna be fair and do a new question. All right. I think I'm gonna use this one, but I think yeah, I'll use that one. It's easy. All right. Who is the first black woman? No, I take it back. I changed my mind because I think that's similar to the last one. I know this one. Okay. Okay, we all should know this one. What is okay? I'm doing this off air, off the top of my head. Now, I may state this wrong. Forgive me, but I'm gonna state it in the way that we should all kind of know this answer. So whoever answers the question first. So so yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. The question is, who was the first black woman to have her own hair care line? I believe I stated that correctly. Who was the first black woman to have her own hair care line? I know this. Boy, you thinking, Mary? I can see you thinking over there.
Because I think, I know it, but I'm trying to remember the name. I don't want to say
Yeah,
too much
Benicia,
because then
please.
I think they're
Will
gonna
you
guess
somebody
it.
ban Benicia from the comments? Ban Benicia
Did she
from the
answer?
comments. No, no, she talking about he. I know. I don't want to get in
I
this.
think I know.
All right, Brianna Williams, we have a winner. Madam CJ Walker. Havana, you were close. You and Brianna
From
comment at
Netflix,
the
the
same
Netflix,
time.
the Netflix movie.
Yes, it was out on Netflix. That's why I was like, yeah, someone should know this.
That's why.
Oprah
But I
Winfrey.
was like, I couldn't remember the name.
Yeah, Madam CJ Walker. I'm such a fan of Madam CJ Walker. I've always followed her like history and read her documentary.
Yeah.
All right, Brianna, shout out to you, darling. Congratulations. I'll be sure to pass on your information to Miss Talbot. Everybody's still coming in, Madam CJ Walker. Yes, we already have a winner, everyone. Brianna Williams, shout out to you, darling. I'm sorry if your Wi-Fi is slow. She's the winner. So thank you so much, guys, for participating in the game segment. And be sure, if you didn't win this time, don't be discouraged. But be sure to join my lives, and you will have a chance to win. I always do these fun game segments. The questions aren't like hard, but I think it's a great way to promote local businesses and also give back to someone in the community. And it's just entirely fun. No, Brianna can give it. Oh well, I don't know if she's giving it away. I don't know what she's doing. All right, so let's move along. So we're going into an hour and 30 minutes of the show. So I believe we'll slowly start wrapping up. Mary, do you have any comments, anything else that you want to share? I think this was a wonderful topic for us to have. Perhaps we could do a part two one day. You know, I started off with some technical difficulties in the beginning of the show, but I'm glad we were able to bounce back from that. So please feel free to share your comments.
Okay. I just want to say, Taylor, thank you so much for allowing me to be on this show. You really was open to the idea when I pitched it to you. So I'm really appreciative of that. And I just want to thank everyone who's been on the live. I can't see you guys. I'm probably going to look back through and look through the comments, but I really appreciate everyone who has joined on this live. And, I even seen some followers coming on the Woman Code page and DM. So I'm really appreciative. Thanks so much for wanting to be a part of this. The group can be only as great as we make it. It's not a one band show. I'm really open to ideas and to new things and what you may have to say and your input because there's always room for improvement and it's a new group. So we're just growing. We're just trying to find our group feet. Sorry. So I'm really appreciative of that. And as I mentioned earlier, so just to reiterate, everyone who has been participating in the Having a Local Friday, thank you so much for that. And there's so many more social media engagement initiatives that's coming up. I have two lined up for this week and also we'll be revealing more about the group. So you guys can look forward to that. And I have a video that I want to post so bad But I'm gonna post it on Friday, having a local Friday. So guys, just keep in touch via Instagram page, which is at the Woman Code 4.0 underscore, and that's one with an A. You can DM me on my personal page. You have my number, and you can reach out to me, email, any form of communication that works best for you. I'm completely available and open to it.
Awesome. And I just want to say thank you for even considering me or even asking to come on the show and sharing your passion and something that's very dear to you. Thank you so much for considering me, and I am more than happy to uplift and do what I can in order to create the movement that you seek for the woman code and us empowering each other as women. I am very, very, very happy that we had this discussion. I feel like we touched on so many great things that can go very far. And guys, I just encourage you to like share this show, share the link. I'm sure it'll post on my Facebook page. I'll share it on my actual Facebook. Facebook is like foreign language to me, so we're clear. But I'll share it on my Facebook, and I encourage you that if you felt like you took something away from the show, please share it and make an impact out there, and let's make a difference for one another. And thank you so much to everyone that has engaged in the comments. Thank you to the sponsors for this week's show, and definitely thank you to you in the comments. It says a lot that you stayed and joined and engaged with us, and I appreciate you guys. Sorry, Bernicia, promoting you one more time, having a local Friday. Let's
Thanks
keep the
so
momentum.
much, Tanisha.
And definitely go follow the Woman Code if on Instagram if you haven't done so already. I don't think you have a Facebook page yet, right?
No, I'm trying.
Okay.
That
That's a work
that's
in
just giving me
progress.
so many problems. I don't know why. Yeah,
It's
so
okay. That's
that
a
page
work
will be
in
coming soon.
progress. Okay, no problem. But yes, thank you guys. And again, as you know, I am your host, Cleta Soulchild. Be sure to check out my website, CletaSoulchild.com. Like, comment, subscribe this on YouTube because this live actually is going live on YouTube as well. And definitely follow me on Instagram and Twitter on all platforms. You can find me at Cleta Soulchild. And thank you so much for tuning in. And I appreciate you guys. I'm always open to constructive feedback. Anything that you felt like I could have done differently for future shows, I will be more to take that into consideration. So we need friends like Tanisha. I'm just reading the comments. But yes, thank you guys, everyone. So I'm going to end the live
Okay.
now. So thanks, Mary, for joining.
Thanks, Cleo, so much. Thanks everyone for the comments. Really appreciate it.
All right. Bye, guys.